libertarians don't have that. It's like a fucking, I don't even know what it is over there. It's pretty crazy because they have socialist libertarians in there too. It's pretty weird. I don't know. But yeah, I think they like the name and the hedgehog.
Mike in the chat, I will post.
Speaking of the hedgehog, okay. Sir.
Wait. Can I finish what I'm saying?
Okay.
1 second. Mike in the chat, I will post a video with the screenshot from Jill's email showing the names of the congressional representatives that are trying to keep her off ballots. Other than that, speaking of the hedgehog, what we're going to say.
You know what I'm going to talk about.
Okay, so Weeds is very angry, and this has nothing to do with you, Jason. I'm sure you had no help in this.
We had to pick an animal to represent us.
And we have a sunflower.
They picked the fucking flower, bro.
I have nothing against hedgehogs. They're very cute.
Yeah, well, why couldn't we have like a fucking? We could have had like a Wolverine or something.
Or a beaver.
Ariel, I see you in the chat. Just so you know, I see you there, Ariel.
Kelly was supposed to come by because we're trying to help her get enough followers to go live.
A bear would be cool too. Anything but a fucking sunflower. God dang it! We had an assignment. We didn't understand.
I thought it was funny because we were actually reading about the vote when like the Green Party was like, okay, we're going to vote for an animal, and they had all these animals, and people chose a sunflower. It's not even an animal.
Betty, I understand you like the sunflower, but
the Ukraine crane, isn't that Ukraine symbolism in there? Sunflower.
Oh yeah, so we shouldn't even do that. We shouldn't do that at all. I think we should have a revote. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would even settle for the stupid fucking turtle.
Oh, wait. Did you use Sip's government name?
Oh,
did you?
I don't know.
Did you? Did you reveal his name?
I'm sorry. I don't know the rules. I don't know the rules.
That's not our rule. That's some weird stuff Sip has going on.
He's trying to be Batman over here.
Mike wants...
I am the dark.
Yeah, Mike wants to come up and ask you something, I believe. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike. I know Mike. Mike and I are in touch over Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah, I messaged him on Instagram recently.
How's it going, Mike? What's up?
It's going well. I'm just glad that you were able to join tonight.
Oh, good. Did you have a question?
At the moment, I don't have a question, no.
What did you say?
You know what I would like.
All right, Mike, you got to come up with a question.
Yeah, just say something.
Okay.
Ask, hey, do you know about the Green Party asshole caucus?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Stop feeding him questions.
It sounds like something I should be a part of, but...
Listen, we're trying to get Piff to help endorse the asshole caucus so that we can make this a real thing.
Listen, I will listen. When Palestine is free, I will even retire from this shit. You won't even have to hear from me no more. You feel me?
Who is already in the asshole caucus, and why am I not? That's what I want to know.
So, of course, Weeds, Pally Girls, asshole caucus.
JD,
Sip's asshole caucus.
I'm liking it already.
Yeah, we're just assholes. That's what we do. We're not nice, you know.
Wait, is this an official organization, or is this just like
it's not official yet, but we're gonna make it.
It's basically official.
Chat that I want to answer. I saw a question in the chat that I want to answer. Does Jill cuss in private? You know what? She really doesn't.
No.
Oh my God, she is too nice.
She like
Jill's
occasionally she'll say something. I'll be like, ooh.
Jill's a fucking rock star.
Really pissed her off, but no. I mean, Kelly and I drive around. So Kelly's my deputy campaign manager. I'm campaign manager. Kelly's deputy, and we drive around. The three of us drive around with Jill a lot. We do these road trips, and Kelly and I are like bombs all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, and Jill is not at all. And then,
oh my God, you know what's so?
Then when you do hear her say it, you're like, oh man, she must have been really pissed.
It's funny because I didn't even know how to act when I talked to Jill the other night when she was on Eric's live, and I was trying to tell her about the asshole caucus, and I felt like a little kid because I said the ASS hole caucus, and then I was like, oh my God, why did I say it like that? was like I was scared to cuss in front of her, but I'm glad you're telling me that Kelly's okay with the language, because Kelly, we're trying to get Kelly on next week.
The thing is, Jill is okay with us. She just it's not part of her persona, which is fine. But I will say this about Jill: she is literally the nicest person. Like when you get to, she is genuinely a nice human being. Like all the stuff that she's out there saying in public, you know, which is the stuff that we as activists want to hear, she is saying it from the heart. She truly believes it. Like, and she is like deeply knowledgeable about policy and analyzing the situation.
She's smarter than me. She's smart. Like, I don't even say that about anybody.
Listen, he's a narcissist, and he thinks he's the smartest person in the world, except for Jill Stein.
Yeah.
Jill Stein's smarter than him.
She is super smart. So when she leans on me, I feel like, oh, now I feel smart because she's leaning on me for, you know, support here. But I do want people to know, like, I have worked for other people in the political sphere who I'm like, all right, you're really not that nice of a person. I'm not going to name names, but Jill is just genuinely a nice human being.
Hey, Jason, wait, real quick, Pally. Is there something going on with your mic? Because you're cutting in and out sometimes.
Okay, so is this better? I'm not, like, I don't know. I'm outside.
Yeah.
Is that better?
You sound a little better. A little bit.
All right. I don't have an external
Go ahead,
microphone,
Pally.
So, Jason, what's the plan for the campaign? How are you going to get Jill's name out there, you know, to the masses? I mean, is she going to be showing up more like in different states, like in person, and like
we've been doing that. We have been doing cross country tour. Like literally, we just got home from 2 weeks where we were in Chicago, and then we went to DC to do the rally for Palestine, the Red Line rally. We went back to Chicago. We went to Indiana. We went down to Kentucky. We went to Tennessee. Somebody in the chat was from Tennessee. Tennessee will be on the ballot. They've got a very active team down there, so we're going to be on in Tennessee. And then we went down to Alabama. We did the Juneteenth weekend. Well, it actually wasn't Juneteenth because the holiday was celebrated on the 15th and 16th, the weekend prior. But so we were there for the weekend. We went to Birmingham, and you know, literally the heart of the civil rights movement. It was pretty iconic for us to be. It was the first time I'd ever been to Alabama outside of Mobile, like 40 years ago. And then we went up to Huntsville, and the Alabama Greens are pretty strong in Huntsville. We had a great event. We got on, local news, good local news coverage, and we met with the Muslim community there. We went and did Sunday service at a local black church, and they were extremely welcoming. Like, honestly, 3 white people walking into a black church and saying, you know, we were invited in. It's not like we just walked in, but one of their members said, you should come sit in our black church. And we did, and it was fantastic. And, you know, to get a sense that people on the ground are really, like, leaving the church, as we were talking to people after the service, they were taking Jill's information and they were like, I want to learn more about the Green Party because they're fucking done with the Democrats too. You know?
Everybody is.
To answer the question, yes, we are getting out there as much as possible. But I will say, all of this takes money, and we are putting the majority of our money into ballot access right now. I mean, people have to understand, ballot access does not come for free. We have good volunteer networks in some places. We have like Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota. We got almost nobody there. So if we get on the ballot there, it is because we have to pay signature gatherers to go collect for us because we just don't have presence in those states. So people need to understand the ballot access just doesn't come. It takes a good volunteer network, and it also takes the fundraising so that we can pay petitioners. And we really would like to set a national standard, like having to know the rules for 50 different states to get on the ballot, and some of them are really dumbass rules. It is difficult. It is exhausting, And we really should have a national standard for ballot access.
100%. As a circulator, oh yes, 100%. But to add to that, everybody got to realize that this is our revolution. That we're never going to get another chance at this again. That this is for everything.
Right about that.
So you need to be screaming in the streets with Jill Stein signs. You know what I'm saying? Like the paid RFK supporters are doing. We need to be out there too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, one of the reasons that I'm going hard at this election is that, I'm not convinced there's going to be a 2028 election. I'll be, that sounds very...
I know there's not.
Sounds very doom and gloom.
Wait, Jason,
I think it's
did you say from the river to the sea? Did you say from the river to the sea?
Absolutely.
The thing, say it real quick though.
From the river to the sea.
All right, so now when I get my door kicked in, he's getting his kicked in too.
Well, he's already going to be in Ireland.
Yeah. Here's the thing: the thing is we cannot lose this. So everybody needs to do anything and everything you can to make Jill Stein president.
Yes.
This is our one shot. One shot. This is the only shot.
Wilds asked in the chat. Wilds running for representative. Wilds, you're in Washington State too, aren't you? I think she's in Washington State. And she said in the chat, what can we do to help petition in other states? And I think the answer to that would be, go to the Jill Stein website and click on the states that you think you could get to help and volunteer.
We're going to try to get to Kansas. So.
Yeah.
I will say this for Washington State, the closest state that is to us that we are not on the ballot yet is Wyoming. So if you want to go spend some time in Wyoming, please go to Wyoming. That's not too far to travel. Other than that, like North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas.
We'll be in Kansas.
We would love people helping in all of those states. There are a number of East Coast states also. Like we've got good teams in Virginia and Pennsylvania. Like we think we will get on the ballot as it is. Without having people having to travel too far for that. But yeah, if you want to get to some of those like central, Great Plains states, we would love that. Yeah, go to Wyoming. In fact, if you want to be a lead in Wyoming to gather signatures, we would probably pay you to do that.
Oh yeah, nice.
I know back when we were still doing New York, me and Weeds really wanted to go, but we figured out very quickly it just wasn't doable with our family situation. But we're going to make the effort and we're going to travel out to Kansas because we're right next door to Kansas and help get signatures out there. Yeah. And to answer Shining, they are still collecting signatures in Ohio.
We're going to submit in Ohio on July 8th. And so if you want to collect signatures in Ohio, you got about 2 weeks left to do it. We will take more signatures in Ohio. Go to Jill Stein 2024, go to the ballot access tab. Or you can send me an email, jason@jillstein2024.com. I will connect you with the people in Ohio. We would like to pad the stats in Ohio. We do have about 9,000 signatures right now for a 5,000 signature requirement. But signature gathering is iffy. Like, Democrats come at you and try and strike signatures. So the more we can pad it, the better. Same thing for Missouri. It's a 10,000 signature requirement in Missouri. We've got about 13,000. We're probably going to shoot for 15 to 18,000 before they turn it in, but that's due at the end of July. We would love more help in Ohio in the couple of weeks left before we submit.
So I have a couple of ballot access questions for you, Jason. So the first one, I don't want to upset anyone, but we've been hearing this week that Illinois might be looking pretty grim. What do you have any opinions on that?
I have no comment on that right now.
Okay.
That's great. And then all of a sudden, those signatures disappeared. Like, they disappeared. Nobody knows where the signatures are. And the guy ghosted us, completely ghosted us. So, we have no evidence that they were ever submitted. We contacted the South Dakota Secretary of State. Did these ever get submitted? They said,
was he paid already?
so he was paid. We wrote him a check that he never cashed. It's the weirdest thing. So
Almost maybe. Well, that sounds like a setup. That sounds like a setup to later be used.
You speculate.
Against you.
Like, who knows? Who knows?
No, I mean, that literally is a setup to be used later against you, which they have tried to do.
Oh God, yes. Let's talk
Oh my
about
God!
that.
Like, holy shit! Are you serious?
That's like the New York shit they're trying to use against you guys with
The Dean Phillips fucking dude.
Yeah.
So, are you talking about the guy who did the robocall thing?
Yes.
I had a text message war with Alex Seitzwald today, because he asked me to, because the Business Insider story came out about us having used this guy Steve Kramer, and I will say this about Steve Kramer: he did illegal things with the Dean Phillips campaign in New Hampshire, like those robocalls. He was indicted for voter suppression, faking Joe Biden's voice on a robocall. They're saying that's voter suppression. Obviously, we had nothing to do that. We did not even know that he had been indicted until like right at the end of the New York petitioning period. And the thing is, we paid him to go get signatures. He got signatures. He delivered. It was a contractual thing. We were done with him. He did it. He did his job. For us, he did his job. There wasn't anything.
Exactly. I don't understand why they're trying to act like you hiring this company that is the company works with campaigns. They canvass for campaigns.
Democrats. He has worked with Democrats in years past. Like, he's a known quantity as a petitioner in New York. Like, a lot of people have used his services. And so this was my fight with Alex Seitzwald today, because he said, do you have any more comment on the Business Insider article? And I said, no, pretty much what I said is what I said. I said, it's real interesting. I said it was clearly a smear and hit piece. We've got no association with this guy. And I said, here's the other thing. So about New York, we paid a couple of petitioning firms that we knew had ties to Democrats. We were like, but we got to get the signatures, right? We got to get the signatures. So we threw some money at them to go get signatures, and this is what I told Alex today, that they delivered about 20%. Now, if those guys had followed through on their commitments in those last couple of weeks, what they said that they were going to get for us in terms of signatures, we would have gotten over the minimum requirement at least.
Do you think there was issues now? I don't think a lot of people understand how it works with like canvassing, especially in certain states like New York. Do you think there may have been issues with companies carrying multiple candidates' petitions, and maybe people were signing one and then couldn't sign the other?
So in New York, just so people know the rules, you cannot sign for more than one candidate for the same office. So, like, if you sign for RFK, you can't sign for Jill. If you sign for Cornell, you can't sign for Jill. And so petitioners in New York, like in some states, you can sign multiple candidates for the same office. Like in many states, you can sign for Cornell and Jill and RFK. But New York, I don't know if that was a rule change in 2021 or not. So if you have petitioners in New York, they are typically only carrying for one candidate.
Yes.
Because RFK was paying like really top dollar,
Yep.
he hired all of the paid petitioning firms to carry for him. And
He's doing the same thing here. He's doing the same thing here in Colorado.
It's like $15 a signature.
He's paying like
good.
we can pay per signature here, and he's paying like $15 per signature in Colorado.
That's a lot for Colorado. That's not a lot for New York. Like the signatures in New York are like $15 a signature as a standard right now, which is just
That's Insanity.
It is, and you can't pay per signature in New York. You have to pay by the hour. You have to pay an hourly wage, and then they get whatever they get.
Yeah.
So these companies in New York, in like our last 2 weeks there, we were like, okay, we need to up our count. And these guys came in and they offered, like, they came to us and they said, we'll do this for you. And so we gave them big upfront payments because they were like, well, these are management fees and we'll make sure. And we were hassling these guys. You're not turning signatures in. We're professionals. We know what they're doing. We don't need our guys dropping signatures off with you, every day. And we were like, what's going on here? And then they ended up getting like 20% of what they said they would get. And then I was immediately like, you fuckers need to give us a refund. This is bullshit. And so they agreed to a refund, which they still have not paid us. So,
Wow.
total dem op stuff.
Yes.
And I will say also, no, I'm not going to go into Illinois right now.
No, it's okay.
I will have some stuff to say about Illinois in a couple of weeks.
That sounds good. We'll have you back on after that. Yeah, I don't, and I know there was other crazy stuff that was going on in New York with the petitions. Like,
Well, I want to know about the fucking Alaskan people. Like,
well, hold on. Let me.
I'm just saying though, why do they still have the name of the Green Party? Like, why haven't like the entirety of the Green Party just like bum rushed them or something? I don't understand. Because if you understand how the Green Party operates, it is a loose affiliation of 50 state parties. It is not a top-down organization. It is a grassroots organization. It is a ground-up organization. Now, the national organization can say, like we did in Georgia, because the Georgia Green Party, they can have their own platform. If their own platform deviates from the national platform in significant ways, like the Georgia Green Party was anti-trans. They had a transphobic platform.
Wow.
And we kicked them out in 2020 because of it. We were like, no, you're transphobic and you cannot be affiliated with us. And the reason the Alaska Green Party got kicked out is because the National Green Party in 2020 endorsed Howie Hawkins. And when the Alaska Green Party endorsed Jesse Ventura, who wasn't even running as a Green, and I wasn't in the party. This is the story. I'm relaying the story. And the National Party said, what are you doing? Your job is to support our endorsed candidate, and because you didn't do it, you can't be with us anymore. And that's how
they're doing the same thing now, though.
Yeah, now they're alleged. So we heard a few weeks ago that they were considering Afro Man, and now we find out that Sherman flew to Anchorage to try to win over the Green Party of Alaska, which is like not even affiliated with the Green Party of the U.S. anymore. And by the way, guys,
trying to get on the ballot. That's all.
It's insane to me. What I'm upset about with the Green Party on a national level is that for months and months, this person
we're too soft. We're fucking way too soft.
We are too soft. For months and months,
I would not run the party this way.
Yeah, this individual had been smearing the party and Jill for months and months, and it seems like the national chairs really, I think they had the ability to basically tell this person, you can't run under our ticket anymore. And
So the reason the reason the National Party has been very sort of like reticent to take the position early on that Jill is the obvious only credible candidate in this race. She's the only person who is running who can build a national party infrastructure and run a 50-state strategy. And the reason they didn't do that right at the outset is because from 2020 there was a lot of division about how Howie Hawkins got nominated, and there were accusations of voter suppression in 2020, and a lot of the National Party was very much like, we don't want to go through that again, so we are gonna bend over backwards to make sure that everybody feels included and nobody feels like they're being suppressed. And like,
they're literally a founder of another political party, the Magical Rhino.
Well, and
Party.
get this. In literally in 2 state conventions in New York and Illinois, they said they would not support Jill if she ended up being the nominee. Like,
Yep.
the question is, will you support the eventual Green Party nominee? And the answer both times was no. I believe I'm the best candidate. I'm going to run against you. And I'm like, that's self-disqualifying right there. Done.
Yep.
Out. Boom. Go.
Yeah.
Well, they've been steadily lying about everything from ballot access to.
I know. I
Yeah.
know.
Like, I mean,
I know, and it's frustrating because I know that for months we've had a handful of people say, well, let's just ignore them, they'll go away. And that's not the case. The problem, here's the only
they're
problem.
stealing Jill's thunder.
Well,
like
not-
right now, like 200,000 followers they have, right?
Yes.
That could literally be going for the one person that can save Palestine.
And we can't even resort to saying, well, they're going to show up to vote. They're going to see their candidate not on the ballot, and maybe they'll vote for Jill. They're making sure that's not going to happen
No, Jill is being villainized.
by villainizing Jill. They're running around doing interviews, making false claims about Jill, saying some very unhinged stuff that Jill would never say.
Yeah, the whole accusation of like Jill said that the Green Party is no place for a black person, or what was
It was
There was something along those lines.
they claimed
Not
that Jill.
anything Jill would ever say or believe, or like, where the hell is this coming from? Not
Yes.
even complete lie, of course, just ridiculous.
Yeah. So moving on from that, I want to make sure everyone knows that Jason's job is not just campaign manager for Jill. Jason also is running for Congress in Washington District 2. If you guys want to help Jason out with his campaigning, because he works very hard for Jill and probably has very little time for his own campaign, you guys can donate to Jason's campaign as well at Call for Congress. Is it .com?
Callforcongress.com. Yep.
Yep. And if you guys want to help with Jill's campaign, you can donate at jillstein2024.com.
Yep.
I suggest everyone volunteer. Do what you can.
Well, yeah, we have to be in the streets. Get some Jill Stein signs and get out there.
Mike, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, is there a way you could put like a picture of Jason's district in the background so like people know like where he's running exactly?
I can't because I'd have to make the graphics first, so it won't there's no way to do it from here.
Washington's 2nd District, it's north of Seattle. If you guys know the Puget Sound area, it's the islands in the North Puget Sound and goes up to the Canadian border. And I will say this about my own campaign. I try to be very humble about things, but the reality is I've got the best chance in the entire country of becoming the first Green member of Congress. The incumbent I'm running against, his name is Rick Larson, and Code Pink just busted him. There were people in my district who basically hounded him out of his own fundraiser in district.
Wow.
I have shared that. Mike probably saw that, right? I shared that as a story, and I shared it on Twitter. It's absolutely hilarious. His biggest funder in the last election cycle was AIPAC. His biggest funder historically has been Boeing. He is on the hook to the war machine and the fossil fuel industry.
Didn't a union retract an endorsement of him in the past because of his dealings with Boeing?
Well, it was actually the Boeing Teamsters union. It was the Boeing union who took their endorsement away because he sided with management on a contract that was oppressive to workers. He came out in favor of management, so they pulled that was back in 2014. He does not have a great record on labor. He is in the top 15% of most conservative Democrats, and anytime you see a small handful of Democrats breaking with the majority Democrat caucus on some vote and going to side with the Republicans. He's one of them. He was behind the curve on both of the landmark LGBTQ bills or the Supreme Court rulings, the Wilson and Obergefell, that's the repeal of DOMA and the marriage equality. There were briefs that were signed by like over 200 Democrats to the Supreme Court that said you should rule on these in favor of LGBTQ rights. He failed to sign both of those. So, he really is. I mean, he's been behind deregulation. He was he was a big supporter of the bankruptcy bill in 2005, which is why nobody can get rid of their student loans in bankruptcy right now. I mean, he is absolutely a wolf in sheep's clothing. And so he leans hard on reproductive rights. But that's the only thing he's got that is even, slightly Democratic Party aligned.
Well, and that's not really even that, because you got Trump right now running as a moderate on that particular issue and being paid by a pro-choice lobbyist.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think a lot of people know this, but I love to go on the FEC website, which for some reason people don't know how to use, and they resort to going to open secrets, which is silly. But, early on in this election cycle, Trump took pro-women's rights PAC money. So, I mean, he wasn't lying when he said he was going to be a moderate on women's health care this time around.
So there's a question in the chat about what is Jill's take on the Idaho farmer situation. I will say we can't know everything that's going on about everything, but I will say if you send me what's going on with that, we could take a position,
I don't even know about that. So
I don't know what's going on with that.
Jill's a savant when it comes to policy and platform and issues, but she
she has to be aware.
She has to know about it first. I think that there's just so much going on that you guys just got to bring it to her attention. Send out those emails. You could probably even email some concerns to Jason, Jason at jillstein2024.com, and I'm sure he would bring them to her attention. But while we wait, apparently Eric is going to come over in a couple minutes, and he has some questions for you, Jason. But so, Jason, I don't know if you know about this, but we're seeing a lot of individuals who are pro-Pally around the country getting in pretty sticky situations just for being pro-Pally. I mean, people getting arrested, people getting thrown out of school. Me and Weeds got arrested just about a month ago. We're actually going to court this week for that arrest. Of course, we have no real charges.
Oh, you told me about your arrest.
That's the arrest, with that one extremely insecure cop.
Yes.
I hate to be that person, and I'm not trying to generalize, but it was very obvious that things were escalated once he noticed our pro-Pally pins, because it went from 0 to 100 in an instant. And, our charges were all nonsense charges. I was charged with obstructing an officer and resisting arrest. And there's video footage of the whole incident. And at no point did I resist anything. So, we're really hoping the charges get dropped. But my whole point of this was we're seeing a lot of crazy stuff happening around the country for people expressing being against the Geno. And in your opinion, do you feel like this is going to be a greater problem? Obviously, if Jill doesn't get in office, it's going to continue to be a worse problem.
I honestly don't know, and what I would say is I feel like the movement behind from the river to the sea is growing, and as Empire is dying, they are going to be more aggressive in their attacks on people who are resisting.
Right. But even deeper than that, though, 89% of our Congress and Senate are dual citizens of the same foreign nation, responsible for the most infiltration, spying, and false flags ever done to America. So this isn't going to be easy at all.
We have to.
It's not, and all I can say is, regardless of what happens in this election, the fight goes on, and I have been fighting on the ground for 34 years, and I will spend the next 34 years until I'm in the grave fighting.
I've been fighting for Palestine. Me and Sam have been fighting for Palestine since 2007.
That's how we learned about Jill.
In 2016, we started fighting for and with Jill. And in 2017, we got hit by the Canary mission. So.
But someone in the chat said that this is one of those people who don't understand. He said that we have no Green Party in a single elected office. There's like 137 Greens in office right now. So I don't know why people.
They're not in Congress, but we do have a number of Greens running for Congress. It's people need to understand that the reason that the Republicans and the Democrats exist in the sort of powerful way that they do is that they have billionaire corporate money propping them up. The things that are popular among the people, like when we say, like, man, 75-80% of people support universal health care. Do you know why we can't get it passed? Yeah, because they're all on the take from the for-profit insurance companies and the pharmaceutical industry, and like they're just not going to go against their corporate donors. We have a completely co-opted and controlled, so people holding like minor parties to the same standard of whatever that they do, the Republicans and the Democrats, it's just a completely, it's a ludicrous analysis of what's going on in this country.
Well, and also it's people not understanding. I mean, if people would just go take the political compass test, you're voting against your interest. I mean, you have the authoritarian governance that has the Republicans and the Democrats, and they're both authoritarian, right-wing, conservative fascists. Both of them. They're the same fucking thing, and the right-left issues is just manipulation.
They're a good cop, bad cop side of the same coin.
Exactly.
And half the time you can't figure out which side is which.
No,
you can't tell them apart unless one of them is wearing the red hat.
Yep.
And I'll admit, and here's what's funny, is I didn't expect this. So this year, me and Weeds work as canvassers for multiple initiatives. And in the months that we've been doing petitions, the worst people to have a conversation with are Democrats. Yep. I mean, they are so fascist.
Easily. Yes.
It's bad.
It's really bad. And I didn't expect it. I expected, I didn't want to have to deal with Trumpies, but the Trumpies are actually not that hard to talk to.
Here's the thing, is the political compass is a little bit tricky, because we're looking at it, and it's been taken over from the 1967 communist versus fascist, and then in 2001, they added the libertarian section.
Yeah.
But they kept the colors. Mm-hmm. And so when people see it, they get confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really do. But yeah, it's true. Democrats.
Nobody's on the left side. Nobody is on that side in the Democratic Party whatsoever.
And the framing by the Republicans is of the Democratic Party as some left party or some socialist party. That is all theater. That is all theater designed, to play on for a lot of older people, the fears that they had of communism back in the, in the Cold War, with something
exactly the Red Scare.
It's all propaganda. Like, the Republicans know, they absolutely know that the Democrats are not socialists. That's so ridiculous.
Here's the thing with that is people are starting to realize that this Democratic Party does not represent them.
Yeah.
That's, they're fleeing it right now because they're watching their friends and family being unalived in Palestine. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now is the time to show them, hey, take the political compass.
Here in this country, the idea that the economy is good, Democrats getting on the stump and saying, hey, the economy is so much better in the last 4 years, and 100 million Americans saying, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Exactly.
That's, they're not making material, we've done more spending. The idea that they have spent more on climate action, just to take one political sector, that they have spent, so you have assigned 7% of the annual U.S. military budget to climate action, and now you're going to tell us that you've done more for climate ever? When the U.S. military, if it were a nation, would be the 25th most polluting nation on the planet? You're seriously going to use that? We've done so much for climate action? Get the fuck out of here. Everybody
That's like the RF. That's like RFK saying that he's fighting for climate. It's yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's so funny because RFK, now that Jill's been making her rounds on TikTok, RFK has started, and we caught an RFK town hall the other night, and they super suppressed the chat. Like if you said anything that had to do with is not real, like they muted you. But all he did was rambled about farming, food,
and then Hasbara came and they're pretending to be RFK supporters. RFK supporters are 100% fake. They do not fucking exist. Come and fucking debate me then. Where the fuck are you?
We have reached out. I have had conversations. Like I've had emails with Amaryllis Fox, who is his campaign manager, and I want to say like daughter-in-law, maybe. I'm not sure what her relationship is. And every time I've said, let's get out there and debate, Jill would like to debate you one-on-one, her response is, well, we're busy getting ballot access. Like,
yeah, he's afraid. He dislikes his supporters. They're real.
And I'll tell you something else. Cornell does not want to debate Jill either. Because
of course not.
We have done a number of forums. You will see out there a number of forums, in particular with the Muslim community, because the Muslim community was sort of the uncommitted and the abandoned Biden. They are now moving into like, who should we support in this election? And so there have been some forums with the Muslim Civic Coalition, with Abandoned Biden. And they started out as, we would like to have you and Cornell on the stage together. And literally every single time we find out as we're going into it, oh, well, now we're going to do a segment with Jill and she'll have her thing. And then we'll do a segment with Cornell and he has his thing. He has backed out of literally every opportunity.
What is he going to say? Her platform? He stole her platform. I mean, what is he going to say? He's going to say the Jill Stein platform that she's had for decades.
Real quick, so Eric Warsaw is trying to come up, and I think he probably has some questions for you, Jason. So
yeah, hi Eric. Jill will be on with you tomorrow. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Is he here?
Yep, he's
Hello, everybody. All right, I got my camera and microphone working. What's up, Jason Call? Nothing but the greatest things are being told about you all over the Pro Pally movement. So super duper appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for having us. I just wrapped up my show. I invited everybody to come up over on this show, and I'm going to be sending a whole bunch of shares out too. So I'm happy to be here. Here, actually, let me send out all my shares and get everybody in here, man. Super appreciate you, Subliminal Nation, Weeds Gaming, all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Jason Call, you're awesome, man.
Yeah, very much enthused to meet you tonight, and looking forward to your live with Jill tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Everybody tune in. We got that worked out where Jill can go do a spot with Eric, and it's going to be great. And as Eric knows, you were on. There's some technical difficulties when we were coming to you from a hotel room in, I think it was Birmingham, Alabama, was when we were coming to you the other day. But Jill had a great time with you and Amer, and really looking forward to doing it again.
That's awesome. I had a question for you, Jason. So I'm going to be honest. So I know there's a lot. Obviously, it's great that Jill's getting on all these different lives, and there's different crowds in these different live streams that have never heard of Jill, never seen her speak. But I get frustrated with this. I feel like there's a handful of questions that get asked so many times.
Yeah, well, they're literally the Narnian talking point. It's
a lot of smear questions, but I understand people don't know. But I want to ask you.
I'm happy to answer them right now.
Yes, anybody who has questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Come up and ask them if you'd like. But my question for you, Jason, is, in your opinion, you being around Jill so much for these last several months, what is the most obnoxious question that you feel Jill is tired of hearing?
So there are a couple. The one is calling her a Putin puppet. That thing is tired and it's old and it's been debunked. And I want to tell
that several times already.
She went through a 3-year Senate Intelligence Committee investigation that turned up absolutely nothing. And all of this is coming from Democratic Party operatives. And what I want to tell them is, like, you know, this was a congressional committee. You're telling me that a congressional committee did not do its job here? You are now literally undermining the U.S. government by continuing to call her a Putin puppet because you know it's a lie. Now you're undermining the work that the Senate Intelligence Committee did. You know, now that is like, you know, that doesn't seem to me to be very good, very much in line with the good of the country, right? So, it's been debunked. The best that they could come up with was that a bunch of Russian bots, you know, were retweeting her in 2016. And I'm like, how are we supposed to control that? A bunch of Russian bots supported Donald Trump, and a bunch of Russian bots supported Hillary Clinton. Like, this is just absolute nonsense. And we do have a YouTube video on it. It's about a 3.5-minute YouTube where the whole thing is explained. She was there at a conference on climate, and she was there to speak about climate issues. She was invited there. It was the Green Party paid for it. Like, you know, Putin paid for you to do that. No, Putin has not, you know, like, you're on Putin's payroll. Like, I would like to see that because we could use some funding right now. But no, there's no Putin money. It's absolutely ridiculous. So that's the one that's the most annoying because it's such, you know, one, it's easily debunked, and it's so obvious that it's a Democratic Party smear. Yeah, there you go. I mean,
and I just wanted to bring this up.
How many pictures of Hillary Clinton with Putin when they're about to look like they're about to fucking kiss? there's literally tons of video out there.
Yeah.
She go wow wow. I mean,
oh my gosh.
And the other one, and this one is kind of personal to me because, and this a lot comes. This is one of the reasons that I'm hesitant. And I will say, we have agreed to go on Jimmy Dore. My condition for that is that. Hold on. That Jimmy has to email me because that's how you get in touch with Jill. Is you email me. You email press at. And he has not gone through the channels. And I'm not going to say we're going to go do Jimmy Dore because a bunch of his minions are yelling at us online to do it. You know, like, email us and set up an appointment.
Jason, if Jimmy Dore tries anything on the show, it's not like Jill Stein can't dog walk him. And literally, it's Jill Stein.
So, you know, Jimmy's, you know, the people who like Jimmy, they're like, well, he just asks the tough questions. I'm like, you know, he throws gotcha stuff out there. So the thing that bothers me, and this is a personal thing for me, is that they keep going after Peter Dow. Like, Peter has not had any association with the campaign for 6 months. Peter literally helped Cornell set up his campaign. He helped Jill set up her campaign because there are things about setting up campaigns that Peter knows how to do. And Peter is a good friend of mine. So if anybody shit talks Peter, I'm going to be like, no, get out of here, man. Peter's my friend. So I'm not, you know, you go after Peter, you're going after me. But the idea that Peter is some kind of, like, the left has, like, Peter has owned up to the shitty things that he did and said back in 2016. He's like, I was in that circle. I did some things and said some things that I regret. He's like, I recognize that the Democratic Party is terrible. I have left the Democratic Party. I will do, you know, what I need to do as now an independent leftist anarchist. He identifies as an anarchist advocate.
He's way down there.
To make sure that Jill, he's in support of Jill, like, clearly. You know, the idea that Peter Dow is some kind, and so, like, do I really want to have Jill go on Jimmy Dore's show so that they can spend an hour talking about Peter Dow? It's such a waste of time.
Yeah, no,
Let's talk about actual issues.
Yes.
Well, no, Peter. The thing is Peter Dow is more associated with Cornell West than anything. So why should it even?
He's not even. I mean, Peter helped. You know, listen. I will say, and I don't want to divulge all the stuff that I know because a lot of times it's just not my place to say anything. Well, you know things. Yeah, I know things, but I'm not going to say things because it's not my place. But what I can say is you're wrong. If you trust me, you're wrong. Peter's not an op. He wasn't an op for Cornell's campaign. He wasn't an op. He's not an op for Jill's.
I don't think he was an op for. I think Cornell's an op.
Let me tell you this: there are reasons Peter left Cornell's campaign. Like, it's not my position to say what that is or why that is. Peter has stated what he has stated a number of times. He's pretty clear about it, and let's just leave it at that. I mean, honestly, Peter has not had any association with either campaign for a good 6 months. The last time I talked to Peter in a sort of campaign role was like early January.
What? And Democrats need to feel like they can come over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I really don't like that people try to say, oh, well, he used to be a Democrat. Do you know how many people in the Green Party used to be a Democrat and then they quickly realized that party does not align with them?
I used to be a Democrat. There was a point, like I said, even though in my early activist anti-war years, I aligned with the Green Party. I went to the Democrats because I said, this is how we get a monster like George W. Bush out of office. Like, I don't see another pathway to getting rid of George W. Bush. And then I went through the whole, like, okay, Obama betrayed us, and then the Democratic Party, did the dirty on Bernie, and then I
wouldn't say that.
Come
on now.
Hold on. I'm trying to use careful language here.
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
You guys don't get banned.
We don't have to be as careful as you, Jason.
Okay. So I went through my whole process working within the Democratic Party and then literally coming to hate the Democratic Party from the inside. And when I say from the inside, I spent 4 years on the Washington State Democrats Central Committee, the highest governing body of the Democratic Party in Washington State. I was there for 4 years and I saw what an absolute top-down DNC-controlled operation the state party was. They would shut down progressives at every single opportunity, and then I was out of here. Like, I'm done with this. No, there's nothing happening with the Democratic Party. They're terrible. Let's get out of here.
100%. And no, Bernie is a sellout. He literally works. Well, you know what? He might even be more than that. He's literally a fucking Narnian agent.
So I'm laughing because I'm glad Eric saw.
You've got to explain to me Narnian.
Narnia. Wait, no.
Narnia.
One imaginary place is just like the other.
Narnia. So we could call it Is Not Real or Narnia, right? I'm laughing.
Okay.
I'm laughing because I'm glad Eric saw it in the chat. So one thing is, over on Eric's live, they don't use profanity too much, and I don't know if it's for fear of getting booted or if it's
we use a lot of it here.
We just drop fuck bombs all day long.
Yeah, but we can't say is not real.
But we can't say is not real for some reason. But I was laughing because
shout out to Wilds for rep for signing up to volunteer in Wyoming. We will be in touch, and we will help you help us get Wyoming for everybody. So thank you.
Yes. So that's awesome, guys. Keep volunteering. Travel where you can. Do what you can. If you can't make it out to petition somewhere, donate. Jill's campaign could still use donations for the many states that she has to get on the ballot. JillStein2024.com. And of course, if you want to help Jason Call, which is he's looking like he's going to be the candidate in Washington District 2. You can help his campaign with some donations at callforcongress.com. Do what you can.
I don't want to sound that optimistic about it. It's going to be a fight all the way through to November, but my real fight right now is getting past the August 6th primary. But I think I've got a pretty good shot of doing that.
Yes. Debbie, I see you in the panel. Did you have a question for Jason?
Yeah, I really want to push Jill to the Hispanic community, but I'm not seeing, I found something back from 2019 where she was talking in depth with about the immigration and things like that. The Hispanic community for about a year has been really pushing reform through Bill HR 1511, which is already in place. It just can be tweaked to like, help people with a pathway to like citizenship, like the ones who's been living here 20, 30 years and paying taxes, but never, just kind of in the shadows. And so I'm having a hard time trying to push Jill if I can't find anything where she's speaking about, recently about the Hispanic community. So I feel like there's like 47 million eligible voters that it's not being like, I can be pushing this. I have a lot of people like in my circle that we can push this and get it out there, but I'm not finding anything where she's talking recently or anything like that. So it's hard for me to try to push Jill if I don't have anything to like translate and and
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I hear you. So I want to say that, because Gaza has been so front and center for us in our campaign, because there's a thing happening there that we can't say, but we know it's happening. It has been the primary focus, and I will say we have been criticized for not talking about other things more. But if you go to our platform, we have a very strong immigration platform, and I want to respond by saying we would absolutely love an opportunity to engage with the Latino community. And if you want to reach out to me directly, Jason at Jill Stein 2024, and help that happen, we recognize the value in everybody in this country, including the immigrant population. And let me know how we can do that better. Like, honestly, because, if I step back and I look at sort of like what we have talked about, it's been 85%, 90% Gaza. And I know that will rub some people the wrong way. And yet we're looking at, unalived children daily. And we feel like that's what we have to do.
It doesn't rub me the wrong way, because I firmly believe in Gaza, and I do most of my content is about Gaza, but there's a like a lot of hate right now going towards the immigrant community, and they're talking about mass deportations and things like that, and it's it's just an awful thing. Like, even like trying to remove birthright citizenship, which would mean that my children would be deported. Like and for the Hispanic community, that is a very important issue. And even though they've been pretty much begging for years and pretty hardcore for like the last year for some kind of meaningful, pathway, they just get ignored. But at election time, everybody wants their vote. But, during the rest of the time, they get crickets.
We're committed. We're committed to the immigrant community. I'll say, go to Jill Stein 2024, look at the platform, look at the immigration issues. You'll see how committed we are. But in terms of like that direct engagement, you're right. We haven't done it with the Latino community. We would like to do it. And if you reach out to me directly, Jason at JillStein2024.com, I would love to figure out a way to get her more activated with the Latino community. Absolutely.
And don't forget, Debbie, she's going to be back on Eric's show tomorrow. So, Eric, are you going to be accepting questions again?
Yeah, we have a system in place, like how we handled her last time worked so damn well that we're going to do the same way. So yeah, she'll be answering questions from guests. We do a little bit of screening, obviously, beforehand, just so we don't have no one just batshit crazy jumping up here.
Yes.
But yeah, last time she had such an extremely positive, great response. But she was actually very popular even before she came up, so we were super glad to have her. And afterwards, she's actually doing what's right. TikTok is like, they're trying to force China to sell TikTok for a reason. TikTok has had a huge amount of influence in waking people up, and Jill Stein is very smart to target the app that is that has, made this movement so popular. So that's actually a pretty good maneuver on for her end. Oh, and I'm glad you guys mentioned Bernie Sanders, because we were talking about him on my show today too. Listen, so everybody, Bernie Sanders will say a few things that's pro-Pally, but in the end, like, I even looked up this article right here by CNN, right, where Bernie says that he doesn't know if a ceasefire is even possible with an organization.
You know,
like
when he's Eric.
No.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what time in which he was saying that? That is during the Epstein files.
Yeah.
When he was afraid they were going to get released. Nobody knew what was going to be on him. This is why RFK said, "Hey, hold on, I might be in those files, but I was only on there one time. Well, I was on there 2 times. I was on there 3 times, but in like a really crazy wormy voice." Yeah, it's a giant honeypot trap, and definitely Bernie's
But
caught up in it.
Debbie, I encourage you to go over tomorrow. And I did tell Shelly, I messaged Shelly and let her know your name to try to let you up so you can ask Jill directly about the immigration. Because I know you want to hear it from her.
Oh,
Yeah,
you also
I
gotta
have
remember.
some people I can invite into the live and things like that, but I don't want to invite them into a live and then not be able to like ask the question, because I go into her lives all the time and I put in the comment, ask her this, but like it's so many people in there. I think the last one I was in, it was like 735 people, so like, I just got lost in the comments. So
Well,
but
also,
if I know that like tomorrow I can like rally tonight and get on my DMs and try to get people to come into the live so they can, listen to what she has to say. Because we really need her to speak up.
Also, you got to remember that this the left, right, the Republicans and Democrats, they're going to use all this left, right shit against us, including mass deportation. Right. The thing is they can't do that because they know that would destroy our economy.
Yeah, people have to remember something.
They know they're not going to do that.
Isn't it like $3 billion or just over $3 billion a year is paid in taxes by undocumented individuals that can't benefit from those taxes whatsoever?
If it was a mass deportation, it would literally cripple America instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly cripple.
Oh, and the way the visas, and I always get the H-1A and the H-2B confused, or is it H-2A and H-1B? One is for tech workers, one is for farm workers. And here in Washington State, we know that farm workers are abused through those visa programs. We know that they are. They are kept in the horrible living conditions. They are often not paid. One, they're paid. They're underpaid. They don't get any benefits from it. And then the farmers, like if they do, like the owners, if they resist or like make demands or like we're being treated unfair, the first thing that they get threatened with is deportation.
So. Well, it's all a scare tactic because they know that it literally would cripple our economy.
And it's $13 billion, by the way, $13 billion in taxes every year.
So there's no way that they're going to do that. So we should really just maybe call them on it. And this is why I encourage everybody to take the political compass test, because you're probably not authoritarian right. Just saying.
Well,
Yes.
Debbie, I would like to say I really do want to have a conversation with you, because I think the immigration conversation, the immigration conversation doesn't apply solely to the Latino population, but it is so impactful. And the thing that Jill says often, like when the topic does come up, like related to the sort of global economics and the climate crisis, is like all of the things that global capitalism does drives the immigration crisis. Like we create political instability, we create climate refugees, and those people do not, like in a perfect world, those people do not want to leave their homes, and yet they come here because there may be some glimmer of hope. And then the narrative gets cynically switched around to like, oh, well, we're the greatest country on earth because everybody wants to come here. Like, no, these people don't want to come here. They are being forced here.
We destabilize their countries and shit. Like, we literally make it happen.
For the last...
I literally posted there was a message popped up at me one time that I could post a 60-minute video on TikTok, and I was like, what the hell? People have the attention span of a peanut. Why would I do that? And then right after that, I happened upon a 43-minute in-depth conversation or a blog video of Jill Stein talking. It's just on immigration, but it was from 2019, and so like I can push that, but people want to hear what she has
that 2019. I want to point out that not only was 2019 not an election year, but it was definitely not a year she was running. So you have so many people that question, what does Jill do in between these, running for president? There's a lot Jill does in between running for president. She's a huge advocate, huge humanitarian activist.
But I think that people really need to focus on, it's literally a trap. The right-left shit in the duopoly is a trap to control us. We have to call them on their
shit. But that's how they get the votes.
Exactly. That's with fear.
Fear mongering, and then they say vote for us. And I can tell you that I am in the lives of the Hispanic community, and everyone wants change. They're all talking about it because in Mexico, they were stuck in a duopoly, same as us. Mm-hmm. And for years and years, they kept trying to get somebody different on the ballot, and they finally did. And there's been big changes, and the country's doing way better. And the person that was running, and they re-elected another person just last month, or the beginning of this month, they re-elected another
version of Jill Stein.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Exactly. So I mean, they know that it's possible to change it, but they're being fear mongered into this one or that one. So they don't really know they have another choice.
So Debbie, make sure you email. Please don't forget to email Jason, and please go to Eric's live tomorrow so you can ask Jill that important question. I know you've been trying really hard to fight for Jill, and you've been wanting to hear about the immigration stuff for months now. So get over there and definitely email Jason.
I just think they should call them out. Be like, do it then. Fucking do it. Fucking deport us. I do it.
Oh,
you know what?
But it's a scary thought.
Maybe if they fucking just went strike. Just do a strike for a week. They'll be begging. They'll be like, hold on.
I don't know if you guys remember the Florida thing. Do you remember when Ron DeSantis did the Florida thing?
Exactly.
Okay, it was my group of people that started that. So like we have enough of those people to start a movement. So I feel like those same people, if they understood and they got on board, we could spread this like a wildfire, like it happened in Florida. So I feel like we have the numbers to push it. It's just that that I guess that they're not hearing her talk about it, or you kind of want to feel represented or something. And I get it. She
understand.
Gaza's number one right now. I got it. APAC sucks, all that. So, but just maybe a mention.
Yeah, and like I said, she does a lot of times. She does it in the context of the climate crisis. And then it sort of goes into like how is climate driving refugees and global exploitation, as I said, and how is that driving refugees? But I think we do need a much deeper conversation about immigration policy. So it's not something I want to make sure people know. It's not something we're avoiding. It's just there are other things that are just sort of ever present. And that's not fair. I do want to say that's not fair to some people who have some very real issues that they need to be, assured of.
I feel like if someone was to look into the bill HR 1511 and see that's what the community wants. If somebody just into it and they said the bill is there, it already exists, it just needs to be tweaked. If somebody was like, oh, we can do that, I believe that people will get on board because they've been begging for it. And so I feel like if that is an option, if somebody looks at it and says, yeah, we can do something with that, instead of being ignored by the Democrats, then maybe there'll be like a mass movement to do that. Like maybe if you just look at it and say, yeah, that's doable, or no, that's not doable.
HR 1511, so I can do some research on it. Because this is the first I'm hearing of it, and if it's a matter of like Jill making a public statement of support for this, we want to look into it. We want to see what the background is. We want to see what the community support for it is. But we have no problem like we've got a platform, but we can add to our platform, and if supporting this bill is something that we should add to the platform, we'll do it.
100%.
Yes. Thank you so much, Debbie, for coming up, and please.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. But Debbie, listen, really, call them on their shit. Do a fucking everybody get together. Anybody that and then stop working. Mm-hmm. Like it would cripple America. Cripple.
Yep. 100%.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I mean, the campaign the campaign is fundamentally in support of a general strike. I mean, we haven't talked about it too much because there's a lot of like, how do we message it? And like, we don't want to throw that out there without like, really being thoughtful about how it might happen, and what we could do to support it. Otherwise, it becomes like, okay, well, you're just, you're talking out of your ass, and we don't want to do that. But I will say, fundamentally, the campaign is in support of a general strike nationwide. What is our goal? Our goal is.
But I'm saying though, immigrant workers can do it. Like they can do it. If they do it, it would show America how much they actually matter to us. And the thing is the duopoly would never try to get rid of the people here. And what it is just a control situation to make us fight, and pick sides in the same fucking authoritarian right, conservative fascist governance. So that's well, to go on that.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody said, I'm gonna say this out loud. Gen X Laney says also we need mass non-compliance about paying taxes. I will say this publicly: I did not file taxes this year. They are not getting my taxes to kill children this year. Fuck them.
No, nobody should. Why? What the fuck are we doing?
And I'll just admit that I had no reason to file because I already owed them money, so fuck them.
No, like it is legitimate. It is legitimate if your government is committing war crimes. You should. It is a very legitimate thing to say no. I'm not going to be complicit in that.
Here's the thing. It's even deeper than that, though. It's not even just our government. It's a foreign nation infiltrated into our government. It's even deeper. It's like fucking Hydra, bro.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shelly, can you request again? I tried to accept you and it dropped you instead. So, Shelly, just please request again to come up. But go ahead. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to interrupt.
And I also want to say, like, that's kind of the part, like, just as the regular citizen out there, like, how much are you willing to risk? Like, yeah, I'm taking a big ass risk not filing my taxes. You know what? I don't care. I've taken risks in the past. Like, we are coming down to the end, guys. We are coming down to the end of it.
Yes.
We either win or we're all fucked anyway. So
right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So guys, if we get to the election and Jill doesn't win, everyone start making your travel plans to move abroad.
Well, I'm not leaving anybody fucking behind. I promise you that. Jill Stein is going to fucking lead us into this fucking revolution.
Amen.
Fuck.
100%.
I'll follow Jill into fucking hell. How about that?
Which is what I wanted to say. The Egyptian revolution was coordinated on Facebook, right? We coordinated. I was really involved in the whole pro-Palestinian movement in Southern California with SoCal Uprising. I want to tell you since October, and we have coordinated and gotten so much.
Hallie.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah?
No, we lost you for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, through TikTok and Instagram, through social media, and I don't feel like Jill has enough of a presence, and I feel like she doesn't really need a social media manager so much. I mean, I'm sure she has one, but I feel like we can. There's enough people out there that are willing to do the work, on social media to get her name out there, but it needs to be coordinated. They need a leader, everyone needs to be led. And in this direction.
Well, the thing is we all need to be doing this. Like, everybody has a different. I'm basically the Green Party Alex Jones. Okay, so
he's the crazy one of the Green Party. But honestly, like we're saying, there's enough people out there, and I know it's hard because a lot of times when you're putting pro Jill content out there, you're getting suppressed. Everybody's seen it.
Jill is the most censored person in America, 100%.
Yeah, but we did it with.
I dare you to make a Jill video.
Yeah, but we did it by really pressuring the influencers with big followings. We pressured them into speaking up for Palestine. We've really done it. And I feel like at this point that the only way, just like Rashida Tlaib, the only way you're really going to get those signatures and you're going to get movement and you're going to get people to say, when I say Jill Stein, people go, who's that? Like, they shouldn't say who's that. They should know who she is. Especially people on TikTok and Instagram. And I find that that's that loophole that we're missing right there. And I feel like if it was just coordinated where you maybe elect people or get people with like influence, you know, to do campaigns online, more social media presence.
Hallie, look at my account. Look at my videos. Listen,
it's hard. It's hard
if you say Jill Stein, if it's a video of Jill Stein, if there's a Stein in it, it's going to be suppressed.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying, Callie. You're saying that they should have a group of individuals, not just one coordinator, but we should have a group of individuals out there organizing, coordinating on different social media platforms.
Who will receive it. You know, I will be very honest about the campaign. Again, every dime that we have goes to pay our very small staff. Very small staff. There's about 15 of us, each having a sort of different role or a couple people in a role. And we all work very well together. But unless the money comes in, we cannot hire more staff. And so,
these people would do it for free. They wouldn't.
We're talking about volunteer effort.
Nobody would.
Please do it. Like, with all blessings from the campaign, please go share the message.
Hallie, that's why I'm always yelling that. I mean, you be the change you want to see. This is your revolution.
But you and I and a few other people, it's not gonna. You know, like this one is the same. The way that, like, we
stand for what you believe in. Hallie, stand for what you believe in, even if you're the only one standing. Most of the time, I have been standing holding a Palestinian flag. You were in a Jill Stein flag in 2016. I was literally by myself, my wife, my two little kids.
In 2003, let me tell you guys, in 2003, when we were bombing Iraq illegally, I sat on a hillside on I-5 here in Washington State at the 164th Street exit every Saturday and every Sunday for 3 hours with a painted piece of plywood that said 2,300 troops dead. Cheney said, I had, what was his excuse when he had to divert? I had other priorities, right? You know, why didn't Cheney serve? Why didn't Dick Cheney serve? You know, he had foot warts or something like that, and he had other priorities. And I sat on that hillside weekend after weekend after weekend, and I got people throwing me fingers, and I sat there every day, and I got called anti-American, and every name in the book, that I stood on the side of what I believed in, that we had to end this, honestly, another genocidal war in Iraq.
Exactly, 100%.
It was. 6 million Iraqis have died to date from the results of that war. And I did it alone, weekend after weekend after weekend. And I will, I've always said, I will always stand. If I'm the last person standing, I will still be the last motherfucker standing.
Exactly, 100%. And that's the thing, guys. Is the Green Party is activists. That's what we all are. Every one of us is an activist first. And this is our fight. It's Jill's in the front seat, but we're pushing the fucking car.
Yep.
You understand?
Yep.
And we're pushing it through some shit that this road has never been down before. The last time it came down this road was Abraham Lincoln.
Civil rights movement. That's what's reminding me of. We've been abused so hard. Like, I've never been called so many racial terms in my whole fucking life than since October. And how demeaning and how bad I feel every single time I go out there, whether I'm speaking at a council meeting or I'm protesting. I'm putting myself out there to be subjugated to abuse.
I I get called H group on a regular basis, so I'm Palestinian now. I don't even give a fuck. I don't care. Whatever.
I wear my keffiyeh everywhere, and I was in Birmingham, Alabama last week, and I was walking through a Target with my keffiyeh on, and a hijabi woman walked past me, and she gave me a smile and a nod, and that was all I fucking needed. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick, Mike and Pally Girl, if you don't mind, we got about 7 minutes left, and Peaceful Warrior wants to come up, so I want to make sure he has a chance to ask questions.
Yeah.
I'll get off and see him coming.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Mike.
guys. Thanks, Valley.
I'm Shelley. I helped to mod for Eric, but I grew up in Ireland during the Troubles. I'm an American. Told them that because there is no front line in a guerrilla war. When we are born on our feet. We are called the T word straight away just for being born. God forbid you speak your own language. And I have been pulled in and questioned and all the rest of it, and I never did anything.